Alright everyone, welcome back to the History of Beat 'em Ups Hack and Slash Edition. This is the 90s Part 3, covering 1995 through 1999. If the early 90s was the high point of the hack and slash and beat 'em up games in general, then the late 90s is the drop-off point in the roller coaster ride. But that doesn't mean some great titles didn't show up during that time. Now, before I start listing games, let me give a quick shout out to a great beat 'em up game that I did not include in my original history series last year. Guardians, also known as Denjin Makai 2, was released in 1995 and is a sequel to Genshin Makai that was released in 94. Both games were developed by Winkysoft and published by Banpresto. You have 8 stages, 8 characters to choose from. That's a lot. Tons of special moves and techniques to pull off, and even bonus stages that are set up like a shooting gallery. That's pretty cool. This game is pure fun. Go and play it if you can. Now on to the main event. What better way to start the last part of the decade than with Capcom and the great Dungeons & Dragons Shadow over Mistara. This game improves so many things from the first that I can do a whole video on this title alone, but I'm gonna keep it simple. It introduced 2 more characters to the mix, a thief and a magic user. Another cool feature is that each character class has 2 different sprite artwork designs as opposed to just making them different colors. Add to that, finely tuned fighting mechanics, more items and knickknacks that you can shake a stick at, and magic that is tailored to each class capable of wielding such power. Improved graphics and that distinct Capcom feel was a great way to start the latter part of the 1990s. If Tower of Doom gave the D&D crowd their time in the sun, Shadow over Mistara was being at the perfect beach as you enjoyed that sun. It is arcade perfection.
You protected me.
.3D was the next gaming evolutionary step, and the PlayStation popularized it at the right time. But that doesn't mean all games would be this way. Dragonheart here was inspired by the film of the same name. Released in 1996 by Funcom, it loosely followed the storyline of the film. It went with a 2D side-scrolling format as seen here, and was released on the PlayStation, Saturn, and the PC. The Game Boy also got a Dragonheart game, but that one was more of a point-and-click adventure game. This title used digitized characters like those found in Mortal Kombat. Gameplay, it's slow when compared to other comparable titles of this genre, but the atmosphere and fighting mechanics, plus 9 levels to hack through, should be enough to keep it interesting for fans of games like this, as well as any Dragonheart movie lovers out there.
Tough guy. Little help here. I have a surprise for all the slackers, but nothing better to do than play games and surf the net all day. Gamecock! Lay those bloodshot eyes on these babies! It speaks!
Let's rock.
Begs to be touched! Wires you to the internet! And it plays more games than you idiots have brain cells! Any questions? Doesn't play! Idiot! Next question! How about compatibility? Question! How much does it cost? Let's get 'em!
Gamecock, the ultimate portable gaming system.
Oriental Legends is a 4-player co-op game from IGS. This game is based on the novel Journey to the West. You get to choose from 5 characters in the game, although the novel focuses on 3 magical characters that accompany the protagonist. The game went with 5. I don't know why. The sprite work is actually pretty decent, and the action is fast-paced and non-stop. There are a total of 8 stages, and the bosses, they're not easy. I had a hard time getting through this first boss right here. This guy literally kicked my ass quite a few times. You know, I feel like they take way more hits than the regular bosses in other games. Each player has special moves that, when performed, take a bit of life away. You can also lose your weapon if you get hit enough times. You can still fight with your bare hands until you pick up your weapon, but if you wait too long, it disappears and you will have to wait until you die or you go to the next stage to get it back. All in all, not a bad game from IGS. Actually, they made some nice arcade beat 'em up and hack and slash games back then. Check it out. Squared entered into the fray with brave fencer Musashi.
What the? Who did you say was puny? And why are you guys wearing such stupid costumes?
Stupid costumes? Take that back, you little turd!
This exclusive PlayStation title was released in 1998 in both Japan and North America. It brought together RPG-like elements and fused them together with hack-and-slash fighting mechanics, yet never toppling over too much to one side and making it a full-fledged RPG title. You take the role of Musashi as he battles enemies in a parallel world in search of the legendary sword belonging to brave fencer Musashi, whom you are an incarnate of. Story gets complicated, but let's just say that you'll be doing a lot of hack and slashing. Little known fact is that this game got a sequel on the PlayStation 2 titled Musashi Samurai Legend. Brave Fencer Musashi was well received by the gaming community. The way Square brought together the two genres and did it well is a testament to the skills that they brought to the table. Rapid Angel was another PlayStation exclusive released in '98 as well. This title didn't get released outside of Japan though. As of this video, there isn't an English translated version of this game. My god, this intro is long, and it plays every time you choose a different girl. Now, from what I read online, you choose from the 3 girls whose job is to deliver items to customers, but you have a time limit to do this. The game is a 2D hack and slash title with some platforming. It isn't very deep in gameplay, but the graphics are nice looking, especially the backgrounds. Each girl has her own set of special moves, with a power move that affects all enemies and boss characters on screen. You can also dash and pull off moves while running for more damage. But you can't run through these stages since you will have to jump across small chasms from time to time. If you go to eBay, you will see that this game is a sought after item by game collectors. Yeah, good luck with that, look at those prices. Now if you're just looking to play the game, well, let's just say that you aren't missing much. But I think the premise is unique for this genre. I say try this one out, you might like it. And if you know Japanese, that might actually let you enjoy it a bit more. games were quickly switching to 3D and polygons. The story is a bit convoluted, but I'll put this as easy as I can. You like hack and slash action? Check. Tim Burton-like art style? Check. How about PS1 blocky-like graphics? Oh, check. You take control of Sir Daniel Fortesque after he is resurrected by the antagonist of the game, Zarok, which is why your character looks like a skeleton. You can use swords, clubs, and even crossbows as you clear levels by completing objectives. If the graphics are too old school for you, this title was actually remade in 2019 for the PS4. Gameplay is still intact. This is one I missed out on completely when it came out back in the PS1 days. I will need to come back to this one someday. Looks interesting.
Not that there's anything clever about shooting someone in the eye, sir. Oh, goodbye, sir.
This next one here is not an official licensed game, but Final Fantasy X Fantasy War is a hack and slash title using Final Fantasy assets. Now, why is it called Final Fantasy X? Or is it 10? All I know is that it has nothing to do with the exclusive Final Fantasy title released on the PS2. The year of its release? It's unknown, so who knows, maybe it was released before or maybe after Final Fantasy X? I doubt it has any specific meaning to it other than it looks cool to put an X on the title. You get to choose from 4 characters. This red guy here who looks like the fighter from part 1. This green Link looking guy, yeah, we'll leave that one. The black mage dude and even a chocobo. I think it is safe to assume most of us here have heard of Xena, Warrior Princess. The show ran on the WB network from 1995 through 2001. Whether you liked it or not, it made its mark among TV shows. So it's no surprise when Electronic Arts developed a game based on the TV show for the PS1 in 1999. Titled Xena Warrior Princess, it has you playing as the warrior princess from a third-person view as you hack and slash your way via 21 levels. That's a lot. Some levels also have you rescuing hostages to advance. What is unique with this title is that when you use the chakram, or chakram? How do you pronounce that? I don't even know. The game turns to a first-person view as you guide the weapon to its destination or victim. That's a pretty cool little idea to spruce up the linear gameplay and hack and slash action. If you liked Cena, or still like Cena, check this one out. It's not bad. While 3D was the flavor of the time among gaming platforms, not all games went in that direction. Knights of Valor here was an arcade-only exclusive that was developed by International Game Systems, IGS, and released in 1999. The game is based off the Chinese novel Romance of the Three Kingdoms, which is considered to be one of the classic Chinese novels alongside Journey to the West, which I mentioned earlier. In it, you can choose up to 10 different characters in total. You have plenty of slashing action here with some gorgeous sprite artwork and animation. This series spans 11 games across arcade and consoles. This one right here never got a console release, and after playing this game, I can say that it's a shame. Another great arcade game that most of us missed out on. But if you have a chance to play this game, go ahead and do so. It's a great arcade hack and slash title. As more and more consoles and arcades were produced, that meant that gamers had tons and tons of games at their disposal. However, there were times that you might not hear about a game at all, or you might hear about a game but never actually play it, due to so many games being produced that were out in the wild.
The Legend of Silk Road.
Legend of the Silk Road in the arcades is one of those titles that I have never heard of, so obviously I never played it until now. The game was developed by Unico, a Korean game developer, and it uses pre-rendered CGI graphics. It was a big deal back then, and a lot of games were trying these different type of, I guess you can say, graphic engines. This game feels like it plays it safe. It doesn't do anything spectacular, but at the same time it's not a bad game. It kind of borders on very mediocre. You have 3 characters to choose from, and each one has his or her own specific moves and magical powers. The overall gameplay is very bland, but if you want to try a game that you've never heard of before, and most likely you've never have, then give this one a try just to say that you did play it. After seeing hit after hit Capcom churned out in the arcades and consoles, it's only fair that we bid farewell to the 90s and the 20th century in general with another great game from them. Strider was a huge hit in the arcades and the Genesis when it came out back in the late 80s. I loved playing this game on my friend's Genesis console well into the night, and the music sound test let me enjoy that awesome soundtrack. So when Strider 2 came out, it was way well below expectations and not what I expected at all. The graphics are extremely blocky and color faded for the most part. Capcom decided to go for that quasi 2.5D look with the background scrolling and warping in different directions. It was a big thing back then during the PS1 days. My thought is, you either go 2D full sprite or 3D. Make up your mind. This mixture just doesn't do it for me. The gameplay is also very sluggish when compared to the first. Enemies are sporadic, so you're not going to get much fast-paced action here. You will still be able to climb walls like before, as well as have some extra tricks such as boost and plasma firing from your sword. The music is very slow and nothing that feels fitting to a game that's supposed to be fast actioned and bearing the Strider name. You know, that's a shame considering what legacy Capcom had brought to the arcades up to this point. So the 90s run is over, and we move on to the 2000s. The number of titles declined as the decade came to a close. With the new decade and the 2000s see a surge, much like the beat-em-up genre in general saw. One of my favorite hack and slash games of all time would be released in this coming decade. Which game is that, you ask? Oh well, you're just gonna have to tune in to the next video to find out. So, what are some of the best hack and slash titles you played between 95 and 99? Any titles I missed? Let me know. In the meantime, keep watching, keep gaming, and as always, take care of yourselves.